Hello, everybody. I am SS the Showstopper. How are you guys doing? I'm doing okay today. So, there's something that's very interesting that I'm seeing on social media. Quite frightening, rather, than there was a young female who was taken out by her ex partner in the United States. She's of Jamaican descent. She migrated to the United States, and it's going around on social media. I guess there was some sort of popularity to her because everybody's running with it. And I know that there are other persons out there who were taken out in recent times, and I don't see it went viral. So I'm thinking that there must be some sort of popularity to this female, or maybe her family members or people, are the ones that are taking up the mantle to making it be known. And my condolence goes out to the family members and all of the people who are deeply affected by her passing. You understand? But there's something that's very interesting that I'm noticing. I'm looking through the comment section of most vloggers who decided to speak or made their report on the female, and they're saying that she was killed because she had good vagina, or she had good this or good that underneath them. And that's a quote that I see a lot of Jamaicans have made it somewhat of a national pastime, that because you have something good between your legs as a woman, or as a Jamaican woman, or as a black woman, that's the reason the man abuse you, he beat you up, he take you out, or he try to take you out because you have something good that's between your legs. Now, I don't know. I'm thinking that it's a psychological issue that has to do with post-slavery trauma, wherein black women were deemed the ugliest, the most unattractive, or melanated, I like melanated, are deemed ugly, the most unattractive women, most undesirable women, most unattractive based on their physical features and stuff like that, have deep-rooted ethnic features. That's, high and wide cheekbone, and also are very puffy face, or large nose, large lips, and coily, coarse hair that's usually short. That might be the case, and very dark skin. Not only that, they were deemed the most unattractive based on or undesirable, based on, I guess, the attitude of a lot of these women who seem to be very aggressive and stuff like that, and mean. And because of such, black women were stigmatized as the most unattractive women, most undesirable women. But because in order for you to know what it's like to be with them, you actually had to sleep with them. And so there is this narrative that have been running around that you have a good vagina underneath you, or good something between your legs, and that's the reason the guy will put his hands on you. Women who used to run with that, and now it's passed on from generation on to generation for one to believe in their mind that they have the best vagina out there. And because they have the best vagina, that's the reason, because there has to be some sort of justification to the abuse, because you don't see it as abuse. You don't want to leave the guy. You don't want him to leave you. You want to stay through thick and thin, the thick and thin part of it, wherein you don't value yourself. Your self-esteem is very microscopic, and because of such, you prize yourself based on the fact that there is a man in your life. Now, if you notice that each time two women, in particular Jamaican women, will get into a squabble, they incorporate a man in it, saying that she doesn't have a man, she doesn't live with a man. A lot of men are known to do these things too. A lot of black men are known to do these things, to shame a woman who is single, or who doesn't have a man in her life, or someone living with. So I realized that they prize themselves on the bare minimum, which is like something common in other culture, to be married. So they prize themselves and see it as an achievement. And because of such, a woman who is single now is deemed, she's not of no worth. And a woman who is living with a man who is abusing her, it's because she has a great vagina between her legs. That's the reason the man is attracted to her. And I say that to say this: if such is the case, and you're prizing yourself based on what's between your legs, you would think that the person would treat you well. You would think that the person would take care of you because they want you around. But I guess in this case, where so many women have a history of abuse that it affects their psyche, it seems that it can pass on to generation, wherein you just simply accept the bare minimum and see it as the most, wherein you are being abused and this person is staying around you, this person is doing so many things, and it's simply because you have the best vagina out there. Now, I'm looking into other cultures, and I know that there are men, white, Indian, Asian, whatever the case may be, Asian men who beat women. They are very abusive. They take out women just the same. The difference is that those women aren't saying it's because they have a good vagina why the men do those things. They're saying that the men are sick and they need help. they need to be in a psych ward, or they need to, put on death row or something. That's what those women usually run with. They don't run with the fact that, or run with the argument of having good vagina or good this or good that between their legs, and that's the reason the guy is actually abusing them. You understand? There are certain things that you choose to adopt and make it a reality. And when you adopt it and you run with that narrative and believe strongly, it becomes actually a curse, wherein you're never going to be treated good. You will never be respected. You will never be seen as the prize. You will never be seen as the most coveted, because that's how you see yourself. You accept the bare minimum. You accept to be mistreated. You accept to be disrespected. And because you accept it, the person is going to continue doing it. And they know that you are so desperate for a man, and you prize yourself based on a man being in your life and stuff like that, and him abusing you. So that's exactly what they are going to do. So when you see another woman out there and she's getting this and she's getting that and she's treated so good and stuff like that, what you do now is saying that a lot of them, they're eating feces and they're doing this. You try to degrade those women and say that they're eating this and they're doing this, they're doing all sorts of nastiness because they want to be in a relationship, because that's their reason for being treated so good in the relationship, because they're doing a lot of degrading things in the relationship, and that's the reason the men treating them so good, while you are in the relationship and you're being abused and you're saying that it's because you have a good vagina. You understand? People need to learn to let go. We understand that a lot of things have affected us, and in fact still affecting us, and if we acknowledge it, the first step in change is to acknowledge it. Accountability. We realize that there's a trauma that's there, and you have to see yourself and see the worth. It matters not how you are being compared, how someone over there is comparing you. Once you see yourself as a prize, as beauty, as something great, something that needs to be respected, something that should be respected, you understand? Eventually, people will start respecting you. And guess what? You change, because even if you don't live to get that amount of respect or fair treatment, at least you will instill such discipline and integrity in your kids, that they will grow up with that mind frame that they know their worth, so they don't settle for the foolishness and the abuse. You understand? So when I look into it and I hear the comments, people are passing these things on, and they need to stop, because it is a scary argument. It can't be wherein you're prizing yourself based on your vaginal cavity, and at the end of the day you're being abused. If the person loved you and loved your vagina so much, why are they abusing you? That's my question. I would think that they're going to treat me, they're going to fly me out somewhere, they're going to take me to, a very beautiful island or somewhere exotic, and we're having a great time. He will want me to be happy as long as I'm in his company, because what? He's going to want me to come back. You understand? He's going to want me around. He want me to what? Stay. But because, like I say, a lot of us, the post-slavery mindset is still in us, where we accept the abuse and we think it is great, and we think that it's because we're being loved or because we're being cherished, that's why we accept it. You understand? So we believe today that's the reason a guy will put his hands on you, a guy will abuse you. That's the reason the guy stayed, the guy tried to terminate you. It's because you have the best vagina out there, and it's full time you stop. I didn't plan to elaborate on it, because the argument is so done. I hate it so much. I don't know where people get that mind frame from. Like I said, I'm speculating that it's a post-slavery trauma. This is pure speculation, okay? Because no case study was ever done. So I'm speculating. But at the end of the day, it seems as if my argument holds some sort of merit, because what else could it be? We don't see other ethnic group that are doing these kind of things and saying that he loved me, that's why he's beating me. You don't see them saying these kind of things. They may adopt, or they may say that they're okay with it because that's what they were born and raised in, but they are not prizing themselves based on what's between their legs and saying that's a good reason for a man to be abusive, or for a man to put his hand on a woman. I can't save everybody. I can barely save myself, but if I can instill some words of wisdom, I think it will go a far way. Someone will listen. Loving yourself and treating yourself and taking care of yourself is paramount. It matters not what you look like. You have to love yourself first, because if you love yourself, you're going to want what's best for yourself. You're going to see that what's best is out there and you deserve it. You're going to treat yourself as such. You're going to portray yourself as such. And you're going to insist that people treat you as such. And if they don't, then bad things is going to happen because you will not tolerate it. So you will move away from that atmosphere and that environment where you're not being respected, we're not being treated, we're not being honored and cherished. You are feminine. You have to accept your feminine energy. You have to take it on. You have to embrace it. And you have to recognize it in the first place. You have to recognize it in the first place and realize that, listen, I deserve better. There is good, there is better, and there is best. And I deserve the best. I deserve the premium. I deserve the premium because I'm a human being and I walk with respect. I walk with integrity. And because of such, I deserve respect. I was raised by people who respect me. And even if I wasn't, I went, I researched, I read, and I saw what it's all about. And because of such, I deserve it. And it's okay sometimes to be alone. Being alone doesn't necessarily mean that you are lonely. You mean that you're actually lonely. So a lot of these things people have to look into and realize that, self-worth is important. Self-worth is important. And stop going on the internet and watching what other people are wearing, watching their trend, watching their this, their that. These things, a lot of these people are morbidly depressed. A lot of these people are going through a lot. You just need to look into your life and know your worth and know that, listen, I can put my hair in a ponytail with some styling gel and I still feel pretty. You understand what I'm trying to say? I can wear my natural hair and I still feel pretty. I don't have to put on tons of makeup. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that like everybody else in order to feel good about myself. I don't even have to put down another person in order to feel good about myself. I don't even have to put down another person because they are doing more or they have more than I do in order to feel good about myself. Yeah, that can work also. It's called self-love. It's called self-love. And there's something called satisfy and take it a step at a time. Satisfying and taking a step at a time. Not everything in life is worth chasing. Not everything. Not every goal is worthy. Not every goal is worthy. You understand? So sometimes we have to look into it and see that not everything a person out there has, we must want it. We must desire it. Not every guy out there is a good guy. We must always desire him and want him. And not every time we must always want to be in a relationship. Sometimes it's good to be alone. Because that's the time that you actually end up knowing yourself and understanding yourself as to who you are, what makes you hurt, what makes you happy, the colors that affect your mood. These are things, the food you eat that affects your mood. These are things that people should take the time out to know. And stop prizing yourself based on vagina, because if such is the case, the person should be cherishing you, should be doing what it takes to keep you around. Not what it takes for you to run away. And because you have that trauma in you, you believe strongly that it's because you have something great. So guess what? You're going to stick around because it's a great vagina I have. That's why he punched me in the face. That's why it's STAB. That's why SHOOT. That's why, he took me out. That's why he hacked me to death. Weird much. But we have to accept that this is real. People actually think like that. And it's time Jamaican women stop thinking about themselves that way. Stop prizing yourself based on what's between your legs. Prize yourself based on what's inside of you. That, a person really have to work in order to see it. Stop prizing yourself based on your vagina. Because you're not being treated good. You simply are not being treated good. You're not being treated good. Some just have a higher tolerance than others. And because you do, then he's going to stick around. Usually that's the case. Usually. And it's way too common. It's way too common. That's all I have to say about it. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy your day. May God bless you. And I hope you guys really take what I'm saying into consideration. Bye-bye.